now kicking on episode number 44. We're doing Welcome to Rockville Part 2. As you know, my man JP and I went to Welcome to Rockville, which was here in Jacksonville, Florida, and we appreciate everyone for the great hospitality and the warm welcome and the great time that we had. So we're just going to do a wrap-up of everything from that little festival and what we thought and this out of the other. But before we do all that, we're just going to go through a couple topics, and then the rest of the interview, or the rest of the podcast will mostly be about Welcome to Rockville.
All right. Welcome, number 44.
We're on number 44. It's number 4 of the season.
Number 4, season 2.
Volume 2, Volume 2,
This is
Catalog
like
4.
Netflix episodes.
Episode 4.
Yeah. Except we're spaced out.
Mm-hmm. Long gaps, kind of like a Rick and Morty gap. That's a good segue to a topic.
Yeah. Speaking of Rick and Morty. Right?
That was some good, that was a good, like, talk radio. Speaking of Rick and Morty.
70 episode renewal.
Yeah, a lot of people were worried that it wasn't going to get renewed, which I never thought it wouldn't ever get renewed. There's no way it couldn't get renewed somehow, somewhere.
Oh, man.
It's one of those cult massive following situations.
It's ridiculous. Like, I enjoy it, but there's a certain amount of ADD when you're watching that cartoon that I could only handle.
Mm-hmm.
You know, just...
It's all over the place for sure.
Oh, yeah.
But it's also like, it's really funny. It's also dark and demented a little bit. It's a nice expose on reality of sorts, I guess. But there was I didn't know why it never always took a while for it to get renewed and this, that, the other. But although I don't know the backstory and all the political stuff, like not political, but
well,
like
I'm sure
TV politics.
It's going to be about money. I mean, it's very successful.
That's what I'm saying. Like,
Dolls.
I feel like it should be up. You know what I mean? There's people. I know the little Rick Mobile thing came here.
Right.
I had a friend go there with his friend, and they stood out in the rain for hours before it even opened. Like, they got there at 7 o'clock in the morning.
To see the mobile.
To just see the mobile and to purchase items from the mobile. That was it. It's not like meet Rick and Morty or meet the creators or voices or anything.
So is the whole, like, mobile thing a new fad?
I don't know, because we just did the Third Man Records thing yesterday.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Record store on wheels?
Yeah. And Third Man Records is Jack White's
label,
yeah.
Yep.
Who would they have on there? Other than themselves. I know, like, The Sleep is on there, I think.
No, the Sleep.
Sleep, yes, Sleep.
Is the name of that one. Which is kind of stoner rock.
Again.
As well. Did you hear it?
Yeah.
I checked it out. Because they were playing it in the record store as well.
Well, I heard it when it came out. It came out with KOD, Sting, and Shaggy that weekend. It came out on that weekend. So I checked out a couple of things on that weekend.
I finally listened to it yesterday. And I was like, yeah, not bad.
Not bad. Stoner rock, bro. Stoner metal.
I don't like that term. You know?
I do.
Yeah?
Yeah. I like all the little terms.
There's so many subgenres, like, for everything. And whether it's art, movies, music,
Mm-hmm.
I mean,
I think it does help better classify everything, and this is a cut to our interview that we had at Rockville, which you can check out on our YouTube channel, or if you want to, at the very end of this episode, we'll splice it on there too. But we interviewed
Red Fang,
Aaron and Brian of Red Fang, and I think we had this topic about how they classify their metal or their genre of music, and then we went into a discussion about that. But I like the little subgenres because it narrows it down to someone who's into that genre.
Yeah.
And like we talked about on there in the interview, if you're speaking to someone as like a layman's term, I think using big genres is okay too. But like me and you talking about something, it's way easier for me and you to kind of be like, it's post-hardcore, it's like niche electro or whatever the hell we're talking about, because then we kind of get right to it.
Because everybody's going to have that interest, like you were talking about, for something specific. So, I mean, you know, you saying post-hardcore or hardcore or punk hardcore or whatever, you know, it's like, I understand those terms. So anybody that's, I'm like, oh, that's hard rock is the way I would classify it. But then if you say stoner rock, then somebody's going to really be like, oh, yeah.
But there is a total difference, and I don't think it's the these bands smoke pot at all. I think it's just the sludginess of their metal.
Yeah.
Like the clutches.
The riffs.
Yeah, and all that. It's just kind of like sludge metal is what I used to call it. And then it became stoner rock.
Yeah.
But anyway. Spotify has kicked off of R. Kelly. They're not doing R. Kelly stuff anymore.
Well, they're not gonna be removing.
They're gonna be removing
music removed from Spotify playlist
because
they're just taking them out of the algorithms. So if you want to go on demand and
you can look him up.
Right, but
they're not gonna promote his stuff.
Right. I wonder why.
Because Ignition is hot, and everyone likes that song, and everyone wants to stream episode 1 through 25 of Trapped in the Closet. So
I've never gone through more than the 2 that were on the album.
2. There was like 10.
Well, I never.
Trapped in the Closet. That when I was in a hardcore band, that was the shit.
Why?
We played that I don't know. We just played it because it was like one of the first
concepts
on YouTube. Like it had like, you know what I mean?
It did
like
have a video.
It had like a lot of videos on YouTube. It was like the biggest soap drama opera situation. It was ingenious. He didn't pee on anybody though.
And what, were you let down because he didn't pee on somebody? It's like, where's the pee part?
But hey, there was always another turn. He could have peed on somebody.
The next episode.
Yeah.
Piss.
There's always a turn that could have gone. You're like, oh, what's going on? Oh, he's in the closet. She's doing some foul stuff. Oh. You know what I'm saying? Brush up on that shit. Go back and listen to the first 10 episodes.
No. I'm going to jump on the boycott as well.
Go ahead.
I'm not a big... Like, I liked the older stuff. And then I really have to associate people with their... Not moral compass, but like their decisions in life, you know?
I mean, yes, child sex slavering type stuff and defecating and urinating on people is probably not something you want to be a part of or know anyone that's a part of or support anyone that is a part of that.
I mean, if you're into that, then behind closed doors is cool.
Hey, not the child thing.
Exactly, not the child thing.
Okay.
There's always a limit.
But again,
I think
Ignition remix is dope. Come on, you can't boycott that. How many summers have you mobbed out to that song?
No,
that's a personal feeling. That's a part of your being.
Never mobbed out to.
You've never gotten like a little too drunk and been like,
I've listened to the song.
Bounce, 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 bounce. I play it often, my friend, and it gets lit.
I know you do.
But I expect
you're gonna have to find a new song.
I know. I expect people to start coming up to me and being like, "Oh my god,
you're playing R. Kelly."
Mm-hmm.
Yes,
I am.
Would you like some pee?
I got a drink for you. And I want to probably let everybody know if you're listening on the podcast and not watching us, we're in the warehouse, and that's why you can hear cars going by to and fro. Thank you very much. And Kyle's making a food delivery as we speak. One day we'll get him on the podcast.
One day.
Thank you, sir. Thank you, sir. Thank you, sir. Coke delivery mid-podcast. And we just started 8 minutes ago, so.
Soda delivery.
Thank you. But anyway, if you are watching us, you just saw that deal go down. And you can see the Jaguar mural that I'm sure you've seen on Instagram or somewhere.
Oh, yeah.
By Clay Misnart.
I love this mural.
Do you?
Yeah, it's good.
This whole room is filled with murals.
There's a lot of graffiti in here, but this is a mural.
True. Yeah, it is.
That's a mural on the saloon there.
On the mobile car.
This is all graffiti.
Yeah.
Otherwise.
So let me ask you a question, since we're just getting some rapid fire topics out. We started talking about this kind of right before we were recording, but Gambino came out. Childish Gambino, Donald Glover came out with a new track, released a video for it. This is America. Got like 20 million views in like 24 hours.
Yeah.
Last I saw it was yesterday. It was 55 million or something like that. But anyway, what are your thoughts?
All right, so my whole thing about this is I've always liked Gambino as quote unquote a backpacker or whatever you would say, you know.
Feel free to share my checkers box here. Shout out my Mandarina.
So, you know, I've listened to the first few albums. The EP that was just released not too long ago was a re-release of some of his older stuff where he's rhyming as well. So I'm glad that the new track, he's rhyming in it,
Mhm.
because as much as I did like Redbone, or
I know the album you're talking about, like
Yeah.
Come Lover or Oh Lover or
Yeah.
or something.
I listen to him more when he flows.
Now, I wasn't completely up to date on his kind of like repertoire. I listened to Gambino. The album Camp came out. Campfire Camp.
Yeah. His first joint
Yeah. And then I listened to that and liked that a lot.
that had a heartbeat on it.
Mm-hmm.
Heartbeat
Yeah.
was on there.
And I didn't like any of the other stuff that he did afterwards. And then because of the internet, I didn't like anything on that. I didn't like anything on. I didn't like Redbone either. I really didn't like Redbone. You know, I'd play it a lot out and stuff like that as a DJ, but I didn't really like it. And it's a 5-minute long song too. So
Well, Redbone's not bad. The other single, the first single on there, is the one I like probably the most.
now the whole album's kind of like Redbone though, right? It's got that kind of like funky, weird
Yeah.
feel to it.
It does have a feel to it.
Okay. Yeah, see, I wasn't aware of that situation. Looking back into Childish, because this song to me sounded more like Camp or Camp. Is it Camp or Campfire?
Camp.
That it sounded a lot more.
Bonfire is the name of the song.
Yeah, Bonfire.
Camp is the name of the album.
I had it both together, but
Yeah.
it was really reminiscent of that. But I like it, and you know, we were talking about like the video, and you like the video, and you don't know how you would like the song. Maybe is that what you were saying earlier?
I like the video a lot. It's the whole like everybody's jumping on the bandwagon thing is what I don't like. You know, so like I mean,
Oh, the white black thing and the is that because we were
a
talking
little
about
bit of the white and black thing, but even him as an artist. Like, don't get me wrong, I'm glad people like grow into listening to other people. But I like him as an actor as well. Like I look forward to the solo thing he's doing. Everything he's doing Han Solo. He's
Oh,
Landau.
yeah. That's coming out this week
Yeah.
or this month.
And then even on top of that, I mean, his show Atlanta is dope. He was on Community. Some of his stand-up's a little weird.
His stand-up is weird. I did check. I know him from Community,
Yeah.
and I thought his stand-up was weird because obviously I watch a lot of stand-up on Netflix and all that other. But I didn't like. I haven't checked out Atlanta. I don't know if I like it or not. But
No, it's good.
I haven't checked.
It's great. You should definitely check it out.
I know it's just one of those things where, like, you know, everyone tells you to watch something. Next thing you know, maybe we move this because now these flies are coming in, bro.
Yeah.
Bear with us. Anyway, yeah. So that was cool. What do you think about rap? The releases in rap that we've had, or the releases we've had in general, I should say. I'm more excited about the kind of rap, hip hop ones, but
It has 67 million views now.
oh shoot, it's a really good video. I like the video and I like the song. I can listen to the song separately from the video, but the video is very cool too.
I like a lot of the concepts. There's already memes for it.
Of course.
So, I mean, that's definitely part of the culture.
Well, do we want to get into it?
Let's get into it.
All right. Well, like I just said earlier in the beginning of all the hoopla, internet, and episode stuff that we were doing earlier, JP and I were lucky enough to be granted access by the people at Welcome to Rockville to come cover the festival, and it was a actually great time. I had worked the exact same, well, I want to call it the exact same thing. I worked
The previous
event, but it was a
years.
2-day situation, and there was no camping involved, so it was a slightly smaller show, I would assume, but I helped drive the artist around backstage, so it was cool to not have to do anything like that and just basically enjoy the whole weekend.
But were you able to fan out a little bit?
When I was driving them around?
Right. Hey,
Yeah, I fanned out for a little. You're not supposed to,
No.
but I mean, you know, I tried to be cool about it.
Be professional.
And I didn't do it for everyone. Like I rode Papa Roach around and I was like, hey, what's up? You know, so it's not. I mean, I did talk to them because they talk. If they're talking to you, then I'm like, hey, you know, I'll like not talk to them.
Right.
But Dillinger Escape Plan, they played last year,
Hey,
And they you know, they're on their last tour or something like that. So of course I wasn't not gonna say anything. I was like, hey man,
I love you guys.
it really sucks you guys are like, you know, stopping and shit. But they were cool. And then he told me, you know, that's when Greg, the singer, was like, yeah, you'll be lucky to get a Glassjaw album before a Tool album or something like that, because those things are taking forever. Because I guess like they're friends with the drummer, the old drummer, who's the drummer for Coheed now, used to be their drummer.
I didn't realize that.
Yeah, they're all over the place, bro. Speaking of people who are in bands, you know why Quicksand sounded so familiar this weekend?
Why?
Not, I mean, because they're an old band. I'd seen shirts of them all over, but the bass player for the Deftones, he's in that band. Long, gray-haired, purple-haired guy, the older guy. I can't remember his name.
Now we know.
And people are yelling at me for that, but all right, let's break it down. JP, he has been to music festivals before, but
Been to a ton of them.
Yeah, no one's saying he hasn't been anywhere or done anything, but this was your first time
behind
the scenes.
Yeah, I really like that aspect of it. I think based on like me doing like photo and video stuff, I gives me the moment to really capture these guys, and then I can get out and then I'll dance with them as well. I mean,
because we did have other people. I mean, it wasn't just you and I at this thing. We had other people that we joined up with, so we didn't really like go backstage or stayed backstage most of the time. We were literally
like hanging out,
yeah,
enjoying the festival.
And then you would take pictures every now and then. Yeah.
Even though I wasn't supposed to be.
Well, no one. I mean, you know, you get told no,
right?
Then don't do it.
Yeah.
No one told you no.
I mean, I had my equipment. I needed to record things anyways.
Right. Yeah. Just take advantage of the situation.
But why not? You know.
They came out great, and you only get to do it for 2-3 songs in the beginning of the set anyway, and then they clear everybody out. So, but it is good that you are granted access behind the craziness to allow, you know, great shots, because you know people in the crowd are taking pictures too, but they're nowhere near as like able to get, you know. Yeah,
you're not gonna get like spit on. I mean, you probably will, but it's closer proximity.
Right.
Those guys, they know.
Yeah.
And I enjoyed it very much.
So last year you also went too, right?
I did not go last year.
You didn't go last year?
I got tickets when there was a deal going on, and I wasn't able to take advantage of the tickets.
Right.
Did
you ever go to the Rockville?
I've been to 2 or 3 of them. Like older ones. Probably like last time I've been was
Soundgarden?
4 or 5 years ago.
No, Soundgarden was last year.
No, it was about 4 or 5 years ago.
I want to say I was impressed just overall with the size of it, because they expanded it this year in general. So Met Park is completely different. The area where they do it, so they've kind of like expanded. The main stage was in the parking lot of the Jaguar Stadium next to Daly's Arena, and that was cool. I was really blown away by like how many people were there this year.
They had to expand it based on the artist. I think they decided to bring in.
Mm-hmm.
So I mean, the lineup was good.
Huge. Yeah, it was huge.
Yeah, something for everybody. So whether you wanted to do punk rock or stoner rock or just
there was there were a lot of bases covered for sure, and a lot of bands that I had no idea about.
But I liked it.
Yeah. So we got in pretty easily. It was pretty fast getting in there, and we got there pretty early, I would say, for Friday.
Each day we got there. Sunday was a little late because we had a few things, but yeah. Yeah,
we were there early because we parked kind of close and just walked in because the office is like, you know, a quarter mile away from the entrance. But it was pretty dope. Who were the bands on the first day that we saw?
So first was we had
68 was the first band we saw.
Exactly, which I really liked their performance that day. I've seen them a couple times.
Yeah, they never are dull for sure. Yeah. And I think I like I don't know, they play really short and fast music, so their short sets I like for some reason more than their longer sets, because I feel like it's more, I don't know, conducive to what they're going for. But they're always a good show. Josh is always a good showman.
Under Oath The Used, Parkway Drive, the Treyu. Those were the ones we stayed for a majority of the time.
Who were the other ones playing on the bottom tier?
That was the bottom tier.
So who all? Okay, so we saw 68. Then we saw who after that?
Under Oath.
Right, they played around 4 o'clock. Under Oath was pretty good. They only played 2 new songs, which is okay with me. And then they played a lot of their older stuff from Define the Line. They played Chasing Safety. They played a couple songs off of that. They played...
Definitely played the big hits.
They played something off of Sound of Separation, too. Yeah, it was really good. That was really good. And I hadn't seen them in a long time, so that was cool. That was a cool spot.
Yeah, I thought it was all right.
Oh, yeah? All right?
Well, I mean, I've never been a huge...
The sound could have been better, but that's all day one stuff. Like, so usually sound gets better throughout the day in general.
Right.
So it might have been where we were standing. We were pretty close. Like, we got pretty close for all that. In the main stage area.
We watched the Parkway from the back of the crowd.
It was a massive crowd.
Yeah. I didn't realize how much of a following they had, especially them being from Australia and whatnot.
Well, granted, I mean, that's the first time I'd ever seen them play, ever. So, like, I've never seen them play, and I've known about them since 2004, just because they've never really come this direction. And if they did, it might be like Tampa, Orlando, or something. They've never come to Jacksonville. That's the first time.
I think they did all right.
I hate their new stuff, but that's not what we're talking about today. We're not talking about that.
Yeah, they didn't play. I didn't hear any of that new stuff, so luckily the album had it just come out.
It came out
the week before,
like afterwards, the week after.
Been perfect.
But yeah, they. I saw some pictures from their Instagram and Facebook about from this show, Welcome to Rockville.
Yeah,
so huge, and I mean, because we were in the back by the sound and just kind of like hanging out and enjoying it because that was perfect because you saw everything and there was sound was decent, obviously by the soundboard. But yeah, they had a massive crowd for them, and yeah, they go crazy, man. They're a good band. I just really hate the direction they're kind of taking right now. But again, we're not going to get into that. Get it? They're getting it around here. It's like drag racing.
You want to race my truck?
Yeah.
There are a lot of trucks around this area, by the way.
The Used was after that?
Yeah. I'm not big on Burt. Is it Burt McCracken?
Burt McCracken.
Yeah. I liked the old Used albums, and yeah, maybe that's like an emo part of your life that you're getting into and you grow out of.
It definitely was strange seeing him play all the songs again.
But he did have a Glassjaw shirt on?
Yeah, he was sporting a Glassjaw shirt, so mad props, Mr. McCracken. He had a new album shirt on the Glassjaw Material Control long sleeve black shirt in the middle of the day.
They were all wearing a lot of long sleeves.
Yeah.
I mean, I think a 4 o'clock set time in the middle of the sun in Florida, it's a rough one to be on. You know?
If you're picking them, that's not one you pick.
No.
You know, if you're picking schedules.
Right.
No, you don't do that. But who else? Okay, who else played that day that we didn't check out? There was a couple other bands I thought there was wasn't there a woman band, Hailstorm? Was that that first day?
They were first day.
First day?
Didn't check them out.
Yeah, we were kind of listening to them before. I thought before Parkway we kind of listened to them. Yeah. And we also checked out the Texas Hippie Coalition too. That was one of the first bands that we saw. They were on the main stage, remember? And
yeah,
they were like real hillbilly, but they had a decent crowd too. We saw Trivium too. We did see Trivium for a little bit. Those are all metal bands. They had huge crowds though. There were so many people there.
Well, you got to think about it like this. So they expanded the grounds to sell more tickets.
They definitely did that. They accomplished that, I believe. I don't know any final numbers because I've seen like 30,000, and I thought I saw someone say 70,000 too for like the Foo Fighters picture or whatever.
30,000.
Easy. Yeah, you can probably get that picture is 30,000 easy, but yeah, that Foo Fighters picture like they had with the drone,
the aerial,
that was a crazy shot. But yeah, I think most of these bands that we caught on the first day is just your basic intro, and of course you have your main headliners for the first day, which I did catch like a hot second of Five Finger Death Punch, not my thing.
I stayed for Ozzy about 4 songs.
Oh yeah, that's right. I had to dip out because I had to work.
So for an older guy that's what, like 70s, he doesn't move around like he used to. He doesn't headbang as much as he used to. But I mean, he still got it. Like great laser show, fireworks going off.
Well, he was the main person for that day, and it is Ozzy Osbourne. You know, I saw him 2001. I didn't need to stick around here.
And then Saturday,
did you see Godsmack?
No.
You didn't watch Godsmack?
I heard them from afar.
Gina was watching. She watched them with her friends at that time, and she kind of liked it. She had no idea who Godsmack was.
What?
I know, and she gave me such a hard time. She's like, just because I like this doesn't, it doesn't make me this or that. I'm like, I know it doesn't, but you have no idea. Yeah, like to me, Godsmack is like, I've not liked Godsmack since like 2000. So it's not like, oh, their new stuff is whack. I just have not been a fan of them ever. All right. Yes. So yeah, how long did you stay for Ozzy and everything? Because that crowd was also massive.
Oh yeah, it was huge, and that gave me a sample of
what to prepare for.
Oh yeah, dude.
For like what we wanted to both see Foo Fighters.
Yeah.
And but that lot is huge. Unfortunately, that lot is also on like blacktop pavement, which I mean, if I had to give a negative thing about the festival, that was one of the things. But
I did really enjoy the shade under the overpass between the stages.
That was a good time, yeah.
That was the main hangout.
Mm-hmm.
We had some drinks, sat on the curb.
They had a bunch of food trucks lined up underneath this overpass.
Oh yeah.
And you can get they had beer and everything there too. Beer selection wasn't, the best.
Craft beer was considered Sam Adams
76. Summer 76 or something.
Yeah.
But then it was Bud Light, Bud Heavy, and what else? Ultra?
Yeah.
But again, you're going to get that at any other festival, and that just depends on who the sponsor of that event is. So luckily it wasn't like Heineken or something weird, or, that I don't drink at all.
You don't drink Heine?
I mean, in the middle of the day, are you slamming Heinies all day?
No.
You, like, 2 o'clock in the afternoon, you want a cold Heine?
No.
Okay, yeah, I don't either.
I mean, I like Heine in the middle of the day, but...
I like afternoon Heine, too. Just not alcoholic Heine.
Afternoon delight status. Holler at your boy.
So Friday ends. JP goes home. How tired are you?
I'm pretty tired.
We're in the sun. You're in the sun. Prepare appropriately, guys. This is a rock concert.
My phone said my pedometer was at 12,000 steps.
So when we walk, like, what is that?
It's a lot.
12 miles? No.
A lot.
Yeah, we were going all over.
12,000 steps. The next day was right under 11,000.
Really?
Yeah.
So we get in the next day, Saturday. Saturday to me kind of was a lull day. I think just like you do with any festival, you get like a couple big guys up front, and then the last day is mostly the big hurrah. So in between, you kind of have like a lull day. You
have a little bit of filler.
Mm-hmm.
Not a lot though.
Not saying that any of these artists are subpar, but they're nowhere, like they're not as big as like the front or the back.
Right. Start off with He Is Legend.
Was that the day?
Yeah, Saturday. They moved up the times.
Oh yeah, we got here real early that day.
Right.
So they started at 1 that day. 1:15. And they were supposed to be at like 2 or something, so we got there early.
Well, and again, not your ideal time to watch a rock show, but they did pretty well. Played old stuff.
I think He Is Legend was one of my favorite acts of the entire weekend.
All right, we'll talk about that.
Yeah. You want it right now?
No.
Oh.
Well, we'll just keep going.
Okay. But they
name the top.
They played.
The not so top.
Okay, yeah, we'll definitely do that. I like we're going with that. Yeah. So yeah, He Is Legend kicked things off for us that day. Who else?
Stick to Your Guns.
Oh yeah, that stage. Okay, yeah, I remember this day now. That was the small river stage, right? That kind of had your more of a hardcore, metalcore, post-hardcore, punk vibe to it most of the day. Oh, we didn't even talk about Atreyu the day before.
Oh yeah, that's
okay,
right.
So back it up. You saw Atreyu? I didn't see Atreyu.
I did. Old guys rocking out still, man.
You think they're kind of old?
So they did a cover of Bon Jovi.
I think they did that. You Give Love a Bad Name?
Yeah.
Yeah, they've done that's big in their wheelhouse.
I'm not a big Like out of all the songs to go hardcore on, that's not the one I'm gonna be like, hey,
I have to disagree.
what?
I fucking love that. I love the version. I love that version they do of that.
No, disagree.
I was a big Atreyu fan from like 2000 to 2006 in that time frame. Whenever Suicide Notes and Butterfly Kisses came out, that was the only time I've ever seen them for that album. That's when they toured that album. That's the only time I've ever seen them live. They were young kids. And then the next album came out, The Curse, and that's like the big one that everyone kind of like caught onto. And then that for like a Japanese single or some shit, you know, like when people used to do that, like they used to have like European albums or whatever, or Japanese album. They had like You Could Love a Bad Name was on one of those, and I just do that because we did the Toxic thing, and like, you know, pop songs were being covered in hardcore at that time, so like everything was cool, and that was one of the good ones that happened.
There's still punk goes pop albums, man.
Yeah, but those are all garbage. The more that they have done, like the more garbage they have had.
They're overproduced. They sound terrible.
And I don't want to say like, you know, a few bands started that whole movement, but a few bands started that whole movement. Back to Saturday. Okay, so Stick to Your Guns, was that Stick to Your Guns?
Yeah.
No, okay, wait. He Is Legend was Saturday?
Yes.
Let me see the
My
lineup,
dude.
please. My dudes. Okay, so who else do we see? He Is Legend, I did catch Play Al. What is it? Palais Royale?
Palais?
Palais? Palais. I caught a little bit of that. A little bit of Joyous Wolf. The Red Sun Rising we saw set up, but that's more of like a Sublime genre, like reggae punk.
All I know is I stayed for Stick to Your Guns, Seven Dust, a little bit of Asking Alexandria, and then Breaking Benjamin.
You saw that, yeah. Good stuff. Good stuff. Saturday, actually Saturdays is pretty big. Butcher Babies. Is that
Like Chick.
the Chick metal band?
Yeah.
Okay, yeah, I thought. Surprised. I missed a lot on Saturday because I actually had to like go work, and so I didn't see most of Saturday, unfortunately.
Yeah, Friday night you had to dip. Saturday evening you had to dip.
Yeah, so Sunday I was there the whole freaking time, but I can't believe you didn't know who Andrew WK was.
I still don't.
And I still can't believe you didn't check him out. That's insane. I would have loved that. When it's time to party, we will always party hard. I'll give you an album. It's dope.
Is it?
Yeah, it's like party rock with piano. It's like, I can't explain it.
It doesn't sound hardcore enough.
Oh no, there's no breakdowns or nothing like
Okay,
that.
then
It's definitely like a play on like hair metal, but in a good way.
Okay.
And he's always like,
So
it's always super popular. I mean, not popular, super popular.
Satire?
Positive. No. Like, he's for real. He's definitely for real. He's like a well-trained musician in general. Like, went to like school in New York and all this, that, the other.
Juilliard.
Yeah. So Seven Dust. You saw Seven Dust. What'd you think of that? Because you like Seven Dust.
I do. I've always enjoyed the Dust.
I will say this: Gina also enjoyed Seven Dust.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Before or like
She never. No, I mean,
What?
dude, she kind of doesn't know anything about
the scene.
this music other than like a couple of the songs that may cross over from like emo night that we go to or whatever. But yeah, no, she doesn't. She's not rocking out like that.
I've seen them a lot, so based on my scale of watching them, they did well. I didn't realize their last album they had a Grammy nomination for one of the songs.
Oh wow!
And they played that, and he's like, "I don't care. I got a Grammy nomination. I'm gonna sing. I'm not a sellout."
No, yeah, right.
Yeah.
Got to make that very apparent.
So I'm proud of that shit.
I would be.
I was like, he said he's sitting next to Stevie Wonder. You know, I was like, that's cool.
Yeah, you should feel good about yourself.
Right.
And your nose piercing.
And your braids.
Um,
Black man rocking out with dreadlocks.
Stick to Your Guns was also another one that day we were mentioning earlier. That's another one that Gina really liked. Like, she really liked them. Like, after the fact, she's listening to them.
Oh yeah.
Yeah. So.
Dude, it's hard. Like the Hope. Oh damn! Why am I blanking out on this?
The Hope Conspiracy?
No. The Hope album or whatever it is.
Oh.
Yeah. the one with the heart. Then Diamond. Diamond is probably my favorite out of their albums, but even their newest stuff is really good, man. True View is. They have a formula, and you know when you're like, hey, play your old music. They're not one of those new bands. Like whenever they play something, I'm like, oh yeah, this is good. Oh yeah, this is good. So they stick to their what they know well. The lyrical content is always there. The breakdowns. I mean, they get rowdy, especially like in a small scene, dude. Like,
well, yeah, and a lot of these bands a lot of the bands we went to see mostly, and again, we tried to check out a lot of other stuff too, just because, given the opportunity, obviously. But a lot of the bands we wanted to see, and a lot of the bands on the lineup, thrive in smaller venues in general, you know. But that's something we can talk about too afterwards. The differences between the big and small stages, but. So you didn't see STP?
Nope.
Okay.
But I did listen from afar, and the more slow the songs got, the slower songs, the guy sounds very, very much like Scott.
Okay, because it's a different singer and new singer.
Right.
Yeah.
Because before it was Scott, and then Chester, and then now the new guy, whoever he is.
Chester Binghamton. R.I.P. Anyway, going back to Stone Temple Pilots again, Gina was also clueless as to how many songs she would have known from them.
She's like, what?
Yeah, she was like, they basically played like every 90s song I ever knew. And I was like, yeah, that's basically it. Like, I don't know anything else new they've done.
Like singing along. She's like, why do I know this?
Flies in the Vaseline. Yeah. Hollywood Undead, not a big fan of. I'm not really into that whole, like, air quotes gimmick that they have. They're like the 8-5 rappers that wear masks and stuff. It's not my big thing.
Unless your name is Paper Platoon.
Who?
The guys with the masks that rap of the mixtape. You know.
Oh, Paper Platoon. Swoop. Spark Master Tape.
Yep.
Yeah. No, he can do it. I don't know if he wears a mask. I've never seen him before.
They do.
Well, because you never know who's singing.
They got to keep the government off there.
Yeah, they do a lot of illegal stuff. So anyway, then you closed out the night, like you said, watching Breaking Benjamin. Again, Gina was a fan of that. You saw a little bit of it?
I've seen them once before with my mom.
That's a good story.
Well, 3 Days Grace, Breaking Benjamin, and...
Mom getting rowdy in the pit?
Somebody else? No.
No?
We were sitting in the Jackson Memorial Coliseum, just chilling.
And then the night closed out after that with Stone Sour and Avenged Sevenfold.
Which somebody got paralyzed in.
During Avenged Sevenfold? Did you see that? Not paralyzed.
No?
No.
You sure?
No.
I heard.
So you want to talk about that, though?
Yeah.
Okay, so me and Kyle were sitting in the office right over here, and they were interviewing that guy, and they were talking about the event. Because I'm sure like that's the only negative thing that came out through the event, like that guy getting hurt, right?
I guess.
Other than that, I mean, because they had to stop the show for like 10, 15 minutes. Anyway, the guy is like 41 years old, 42 years old. Why are you stage diving? Or why are you crowd surfing at 40-something years old? I am not that age, and I'm not even going to try to do that. I've waved bye-bye to crowd surfing like I'm not a teenager anymore. I'm not doing that. 2, we're on blacktop pavement, right? And 3, he said that he got thrown into the mosh pit. Like they threw him purposely into the mosh pit. And well, he called it marsh pit.
The marsh. Because
when they interviewed him on TV, he was in the hospital, but he was pretty necky.
Oh wow.
He had a little neck in him. So he, when they put me in the marsh pit, that's when I fell on my neck and I heard it. And it does suck, but I mean, like, hey, he had daughters. You have like 13-year-old daughters, bro. You don't need to be going crowd surfing at a rock concert. That's the funniest part to me about it. I mean, it's not funny. It sucks. He got hurt and all this, that, and the other. But like, come on, dude. You're to blame a little bit.
Yeah, I agree. I always get near the pit so people don't crowd surf.
Yeah, we even had that conversation Sunday night.
Yeah.
About people coming up behind you.
No fly zone.
Yeah. And I'm not helping you. If you ever come crowd surfing by me, I'm not going to help. If I do, it's to push you away from me.
Right.
Yeah, I'm not like, let me carry you some. No, I'm not trying to help out.
I mean,
They're
think about
bugging me and annoying me.
the concept of trusting strangers. It's almost like a trust fall, right? Activity with drunken idiots
Right? Everyone is
that
A-OK on point.
looking the opposite direction you're coming from.
You mollywop people on their head without them knowing, and they
Right.
expect everything to be cool.
It's like, why didn't you catch me? I didn't know you were coming.
I didn't really see your 200-pound body, being thrown about.
And then the women that are doing that, the guys are just trying to pull down their shirts.
I know. I feel so bad.
I was
I
like,
feel so bad. Because, I mean, like, yeah, it's fun and stuff like that. And for some reason, girls want to crowd surf a lot.
yeah.
Young people like to crowd surf a lot. Young kids and girls like to crowd surf a lot. But, oh, man, some inappropriateness probably goes on.
Naturally, I mean, you're just watching, you're just like, oh, look.
Yeah. And some girls just whipping them out in general. But so Sunday came around. After the Avenged Sevenfold issue and everything like that. I didn't see any pictures of the crowd for Avenged Sevenfold, but I assume it was roughly large too.
Yeah. You should ask
I should ask.
Marla.
Oh yeah, no, she
I
did
think she
see
stayed
him.
for
Yeah,
it.
she saw him. Yeah.
Sunday was a good day overall. I think it was very balanced. I was able to enjoy it a little more. I think we did more behind the scenes stuff
Yeah, we had some stuff scheduled.
that day. We would have had more scheduled. It would just seem as people didn't. You got to email repetitively.
Well, that and like I touched base with like a lot of people
They're like,
too
yeah.
early.
They're like,
Yeah.
yeah, sure, why not?
Yeah.
And then like, oh no, not now.
Yeah.
You're already booked up.
Yeah, so like
It's like
once,
but you already said yes.
and again, like you don't get a lot of notice that you're approved for these things. You know what I mean? Like you get approved and like bam, oh, you got like a week to set all this stuff up, and then by then, some people are already like in line for this stuff. So
Definitely. But it was, that day went well, I think. I missed the Bronx. That was early. It was pushed up.
Oh yeah, because Kill Switch canceled and one day, and that
was
kind
Saturday.
of arranged schedules differently. That kind of sucked. I was really looking forward to Kill Switch. Damn, getting it. But yeah, I was really looking forward to Kill Switch, and when I heard those other photographer guys saying that Kill Switch canceled, I was really bummed.
So missed the Bronx. But we caught Fever,
Fever 333.
which the guy is always, like, Jason is a banshee on stage, man.
The whole, like, dude, everybody in that band, it's like they took the most rowdy people from a couple other bands, threw them in, like, another situation, and now that's just them.
Yeah.
Because even the drummer is kind of like...
This is us.
Yeah.
Let's do it.
The drummer is, out there, and he's fucking pretty energetic for a drummer. I mean, like, you're sitting back there, but
Yeah.
he's, like, standing up, jumping around, doing all sorts of shit. Kind of like 68.
Oh, they're all doing well. And then,
And of course, you have the guy from the fucking Chariot in that band, and of course, he's going to go crazy. Guy with dreads, black guy.
Steph.
Yeah.
Steven. We
Stephen was with us.
we got to meet
Oh, we did meet them.
a couple of guys at the media tent whenever they were leaving. And they were done with some of theirs. They didn't have any more time for us.
No,
It's
they
like-
were literally... the
like,
Fever
hey.
was going on stage.
Yeah. It's like, we got a show, maybe later. But luckily, able to touch base with them and say what's up.
Yeah.
I'm a big fan of the movement they're trying to create.
Well, you like their other band too, or you like Let Live a lot.
So I like Let Live first two albums.
Clarified.
Yep. And then I do like Night Versus,
Mhm.
which now they're just an instrumental band.
Is that what it is? Because I did see that they were still
Doug's
doing.
not- yeah, Doug's not.
I did see they were still doing stuff, but without Doug.
Doing the vocals. And then you got your boy from the Chariot, which still like thrash and
Yeah,
shit.
he's crazy. He's fucking all over, dude.
Thrash. I'm always like, it's fun to see.
Yeah, they are always putting on a show.
Yeah.
Yeah, they definitely, and they have like more theatrical type stuff that they do now too. Like they start up their show and stuff like that with
The hood and whatnot.
that. No spoilers. Go see them live. Who else was playing that day?
Well, after that was a Turnstile.
No, that's your big one. That's JP's band for afterwards. After the festival that he learned about and loved.
I've learned about him before, but whenever you see somebody live, we'll talk about
I'm
that.
assuming that's going to be one of his top 5 performances of the weekend. What else do we have? Bullet for My Valentine. We didn't see Thrice. Oh no, we caught a couple of songs of Thrice.
Yeah, we did see Greta Van Fleet, which I
Yeah.
didn't have any idea who they were.
I kept hearing the name, and then Gina told me they're like 17-year-olds that sound like,
Exactly like Led Zeppelin.
which is weird.
So when I started listening to them, I'm like, yo, it makes me want to listen to Led Zeppelin. But then,
Like when you heard them on like Spotify or something beforehand.
no, I didn't even know who they were.
Okay.
When I heard him in person, I was like, this guy sounds exactly like Robert Plant. Exactly. Because at one point I thought like Wolf Mother was going to be the new Zeppelin. This is the Zeppelin. Like this is the new age movement for Zeppelin.
I like Led Zeppelin. I'm a big Led Zeppelin fan.
Right.
And so it'd be cool like if you were drinking at a bar and like some young kids started playing like Led Zeppelin, like actual Led Zeppelin. But I felt that they sound exactly like Led Zeppelin, and they try to be like Led Zeppelin too, like the way that the singer was dressed. And I'm sure it's part of the whole situation that they got going on, like marketing and their management situation and stuff, like making that impression, like wanting to align them with Led Zeppelin. My thing is, I can't wait to see what they're like once they've been out for a while and they start getting their own sound. Like, what would their own sound be?
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
I agree with that.
Because like you said, like when you listen to them, you just want to listen
To Zeppelin.
to Zeppelin. So that's a kind of a problem, you know what I mean? But it also does maybe open a lot of younger people, since they're, 16, 17 years old. It'll open up a lot of more people of their age to older music in general too. So it's a win-win both ways, but I'm interested to see what they'll sound like going forward.
Now we saw Red Fang.
Red Fang. We interviewed Red Fang, saw Red Fang.
Yeah. They closed out with their big track. But when I listened to them, because then again, like I said, we were talking about stoner music or stoner rock. I could definitely see where they were all grouped together on that same day.
Well, they're all on the same. Yeah, they're all on a tour. Yeah.
Yeah. So even Queens, like when I heard them from afar, I was like, sounds like Queens, but it's just like, no, this is Red Fang. I was like, yeah.
Yeah, people. You're the only person to say Red Fang sounds like current Red Fang sounds like Queens of the Stone Age.
Old Queens.
Yeah, but I mean, when I first heard Red Fang was like 2006, and they were more punky, hardcore-ish back then.
Yeah.
And I granted I didn't keep up at all with any of it.
Well, the last album they came out with was a little harder, so it didn't sound as much along those other albums.
Oh yeah, and again, if you listen all the way to this into this podcast, we'll slap on that 16-minute interview for you, or you can check it on YouTube or website.
On YouTube.
Who else? We saw Quicksand. That's when I walked over. I walked over by myself.
Yeah.
Saw Quicksand. I had checked them out earlier that day because I was like, "Yo, have I ever heard of them?" Like, I know the band in my head. Like, I knew it in my head, but I'd never heard them. So when I started listening to them, basically it's like 90s alternative. A lot of it sounds kind of like 90s alternative, but a different version of it. And again, the bass player looked very familiar because he had done work with the Deftones. And I didn't even put that two together until like days after the festival.
It's like, oh yeah.
Yeah, I think I did the thing. Turnstile, The Sword. The Sword was also another stoner band. Who was on the tour? It was Clutch,
Baroness.
Fireball Ministry, Baroness, and Red Fang?
Yeah. No, I think it's Baroness, Sword, Red Fang, and Clutch.
Fireball Ministry too.
Yeah, okay. Well,
I definitely remember them being there.
there you go.
Or on the lineup for that. We did check out Bullet for My Valentine. Right?
We did.
In the back.
On the left.
Oh no, that was main stage. No, that's not main stage. Would they play main stage?
Yeah, they played.
Yeah, they played main stage. We did check out probably like seconds of Thrice. I remember I saw Clutch a little bit from the VIP because we were granted access to VIP, which that was dope. Shaded VIP.
But we ended up catching a little bit of Billy Idol because the Red Fang interview.
Oh right, yeah.
Bled into that.
We did have to catch.
That's it. We got 2 songs.
But which 2 songs did you hear?
White Wedding
Of course.
and Not Money Money.
Not Money Money, but the other one. I'm
Yeah,
trying to think. That's White Wedding, right?
Yeah.
It's the other fucking song, Jonathan. Come on, what is it? White Wedding. Start
It's all you can get in your head.
again. Yeah, but we did hear the two songs that probably we wanted to hear.
Right.
Except for Money Money. And I asked somebody, I was like, yo, did he play Money Money yet?
And he did not.
No, he
play
didn't. He didn't play it.
I thought he was gonna play that when he came out on.
We'll talk about that.
Yeah.
But yeah, look that song up. What was the other song?
Rebel Yell.
Rebel Yell. Yeah.
Yep.
That's it. So we saw those two songs, which classic Idol.
I'm down for that.
Classic Idol. So check that off. That was cool too. It's really weird seeing like these people you've heard about forever and ever and ever and never really have seen, and then you see them. You know what I mean? That it happened a couple times this weekend, mainly for the last band, but Idol was one of those too, where I was like, damn, you know, like I've grown up my entire life like listening to White Wedding or Money Money. Not like listening to it, but it's been in my life for 30 years or something like that. And then you finally see them up there and you're like, what the fuck?
You always hear it on the radio or something.
Yeah.
But after that show, we ended up staying in the vicinity. We didn't go see Queens of Stone Age.
We did catch them from afar.
Yeah, but 2 songs, and then there's no way you want to fight
We were planning ahead.
30,000 people to get a good seat for Foo Fighters.
Yeah, and Queens had a massive massive crowd.
Oh, yeah.
By then, I mean, that's like, you're talking like third day. Everyone's there anyway that's going to go for the festival.
These are the last 2 bands.
Bands, and then that crowd was just monstrous. And then, yeah, to fight them, try to get to where we were. But we did, who played? So it was Queens of Stone Age after Billy Idol, right?
Yep.
And then the Foo Fighters.
Right.
Yeah. So, yeah. Foo Fighters was crazy. That's another band I'd never seen before, and that was like so crazy to see them. And we got so decently close, you know?
And you know what? I think seeing them now, I gotta go see them anytime.
Have you ever seen them before?
No.
Yeah. And they had never been to Jacksonville. And you mentioned that.
Yeah.
One drawback is he talked a lot.
No, but he was putting on a show.
Yeah, but he talked a lot.
I liked it.
Yeah, it wasn't horrible.
He was in the zone. And he brought out some special guests.
He brought some special guests.
He played the drums.
He played the drums.
Yeah.
It was a little much because he made me think that they were going to play for like ever. But they just played for like their regular scheduled time. But he made you think that they were like, they're not going to let us get enough times. We're just going to keep playing until they tell us no. Which obviously was scheduled time, so.
Yeah. But sometimes they would.
Yeah. I was hoping that they would play an extra hour or something like that. Even though we had been standing up all damn day and my back was shot by then.
Yeah. Well, the first time I saw Queens, even Josh was like, "What? This is over?" No. And he ended up going across the street and doing karaoke at Dos Gatos after that show.
You're talking about this weekend?
No, not this weekend.
Oh.
The first time he came to Jack's, or the last time he was here.
Where did they play at?
Florida Theater.
Yeah, it's right there. So
yeah, it's like, went over there, drank, and did karaoke.
Hey, get it while you fit in. Get it when you can. Get it whatever. Do something with your life.
But I think that's really cool for a rock star to be like, "You guys want to hang out?"
Yeah, as long as you don't kick me in the face.
Right.
Don't kick me in the face. Don't break my camera.
Anything for the shot.
Yeah.
Did you see the photo?
Yeah.
The photo was dope.
Yeah.
The photo's like fucking legendary. It's almost like that Johnny Cash photo.
Yeah. It's just one of those things. Like I don't think he's out here like kicking people maliciously.
No.
But
he didn't wind up for it.
Hey, it didn't go his way at all. But I don't think he's like out here like, I'm gonna stomp that bitch's face. Just give me a second.
Yeah, he didn't curb stomp or anything. He just like brushed his foot going sideways.
Yeah, seriously.
It hit her, but whatever.
Whatever. Hey, it's a nice shot. You got some money out of the deal.
Right.
But the Foo Fighters, yeah, man. That's another band who has a massive catalog.
9 albums?
I am familiar with 10% of 15% of it.
Really?
Yeah, like mainly like 90s.
I know a lot.
Like Everlong and Monkey Wrench and that kind of shit. And
Shape and Color and okay.
I know their hits. You know, like they played that All My Life song all damn weekend. So by the time we heard it, you know, it was like, yeah, jin 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 jin. But it was cool. I thought that was a really good show. There's a lot of antics and theatrical type shit that they were doing, like talking, and they had like a 20-minute band intro where they brought out, like you were saying earlier, they brought out Billy Idol. They did a song with Billy Idol.
Brought out John Travolta.
Yeah, they brought out John Travolta, who was standing off stage, who didn't look like he wanted to be on stage at first.
Yeah.
He didn't. He was like, "Thank you for telling everyone I'm here."
Making this awkward for me.
And then, they did the Queen song where they switched roles with the drummer, and drummer sang the Queen thing, and Dave played the drums.
They had Pressure.
Under pressure. But the Figaro, whatever that is. That was cool, man. That was something that I kept thinking to myself, like, wow, like, we're kind of watching Nirvana, but not Nirvana.
I was hoping for a Nirvana song.
Yeah, I bet you were.
I was.
They played a Nirvana song earlier in the day, or that they played. A couple people played Nirvana songs.
There was a Nirvana song that Breaking Benjamin covered. I was like, no, don't do it. Don't do it. No.
No.
Don't know. They ended up doing a Metallica cover. They did like 4 covers in a row.
Who did?
Breaking Benjamin.
Oh, that's right. I heard about they had like a cover medley.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. Those were hit or miss, man. You know what I mean? Hit or miss.
Start off with the Imperial March for
Mm-hmm.
Darth Vader's intro, and they just spawned off into random shit.
Mm-hmm.
Oh well. All right. So
Overall,
the back behind the scenes.
what are some cool things? Okay, let's just go with bad things. We'll start off with bad things. Bad things you didn't like.
All right, dancing on the concrete is always a no.
Yeah, that might. I mean, they may have to do something about that.
Hardcore dancing in the concrete is always a no for my personal preference. I'm also getting too old to dance in the pit.
Nah, see, I don't think so. I think if you mean like you just got to know, pick and choose, bro. You can't go in there all the time.
Yeah.
I know you're like you got hit in the rib.
I got kicked in the stomach. I got hit in the rib. I broke up a fight. We're gonna talk about that.
Yeah,
But
the fight was. That fight was hilarious.
yeah.
But
My rib is finally starting to feel better. This is 2 weeks later.
yeah, all right. Well, my back is still jacked, man, from standing up, and I was trying to like stretch it all weekend long, but it's still. We're just getting old and out of shape. That's all.
Maybe if I was in better shape, then I would.
Younger JP wouldn't be having this conversation with
No.
me.
You're right.
I got the ibuprofen.
That's a good idea next time.
Right? Just pregame, just slam ibuprofens.
Chase it down with this whiskey.
Yeah. So you had some bad things. The beer selection was a negative thing, but I think not just for us, but for other people. But they did have liquor as well. You could get liquor, drinks there too. This, that, or the other, but that's how it is everywhere. A bad thing that I thought of was, oh man, I'm blanking on it. You go. You do another bad thing.
I liked how they had the vendor
You
stages.
said liked.
What?
You said liked.
I liked it.
Yeah, but I'm saying, what's the bad thing?
Oh yeah, you're right.
We got the blacktop. That's basically it. Blacktop, maybe the beer selection.
Yeah.
Because I mean, they had like.
I enjoyed maybe it was an area where they could put like a spray fan with some, mist.
Maybe
Like a cooling tent.
maybe they had.
Because there's a lot of festivals that normally have a cooling area.
They had those Pringle shade things. That would have been a cool option for that. When in the main stage they had those big Pringle looking chip shade things. I think they had a lot of cool features. They had the vinyl shop, or they had CDs and vinyl shop, which a little warm for that, but
Yeah, but you can get your vinyl signed.
Yeah, correct. They had
by
artist
the
signage.
artist.
They had people signing stuff all the time, meet and greets all the time, scheduled. They had lockers for you to rent for
Put up your things.
storage. They had cell phone stations that you could charge. I think they were free for VIP, because when we were in VIP, I saw stations, but then I also saw you could have them elsewhere. What else? They had you could buy a guitar, and the guitar tent.
You can play a guitar, try it out. Different vendors.
They had a bunch of different like artists, painters there selling stuff. They had band merch set up there. They had a couple different vendors.
I would like maybe a little more of a merch selection, obviously. I'm going to check online to see if I can get a discounted
Just kind of shirt.
Poster.
The poster was sold out, I think, man.
The poster was dope, man.
The poster was dope, and that sold out. A lot of the Welcome to Rockville stuff apparently sold out.
Yeah, the Modus building,
Yeah,
or whatever you would call it.
I, like you were saying, I wish they had more of a kind of like Warped Tour type situation for merch, where you would like walk by the specific band's merch, instead of having it just like one section and they all sell like
Everybody.
But that's like how it is at festivals too. Bonnaroo does the same thing, where you just walk into the tent or walk to the tent and it's everyone's things for sale. Okay, well, the things you liked, bro. VIP access, behind the stage access, obviously.
Yeah, hanging out with those guys. I doing an interview. I blinked immediately, so I was like, "Yeah, I'm prepped. I'm ready. Let's do this."
Oh yeah, and then but I cut you off. That was half my fault.
As soon as I got into it, I was just like,
okay. Well, because you only have like X amount of time with these people.
Right.
You don't know if they're like wanting to get out of there either. But luckily they had already played. Red Fang already played, so they weren't rushed or anything. But
they were hanging out.
That was cool. The media tent was cool. That was an option I didn't see the year before. Or not option, but that's something I didn't see before. And they also changed it.
I would have hung out there more often.
Yeah. They had a little sign for us, which was quite nice. I thought that was cool. A little take-home souvenir for the office. Things I liked. I mean, are we going to talk about bands that we like, sets that we like?
There's a top 3 sets for the weekend.
Go play it. We shouldn't line up again.
You needed that bad.
For one, I have... Okay, so Foo Fighters obviously are going to be up there for the top 3 just because it was cool. The other one... Damn, who did I like? Who did I rock out the most to? Oh, man. Am I going to say Under Oath? I'll say Under Oath.
All right, 1, 2.
And then He Is Legend. He Is Legend by far was like the best for me. I thought they had the best show. And that could again be because I'm like super huge fanboy.
You're biased.
They didn't play any new stuff though. They played one new song off the new album, which is not bad. That's one of my favorite albums they've made. But I was hoping for more new stuff. Is that weird?
No. I wish we would have gotten this done immediately after the show that week, but life.
Yeah, well, also it would be more fresh and stuff. But
well, we got a lot of things lined up, but hopefully they go through. So those are your 3.
Yeah, Under Oath again because I hadn't seen Under Oath in like fucking almost 10 years maybe. So it was really good to see them and really good that they're back doing their thing. They can make a better album next time, but that new album's kind of garbage. But it's just fun to see them again. And then who was the other one I said? Foo Fighters.
Yeah.
Boom. Yeah, why? 68, honorable mention 68 because they were dope. They were really good, and that was like a good like first impression into the weekend. So yeah, it was cool.
So I'll say Foo Fighters. Like I said, I'll go see them anytime based on the show they put on. It was good. They're almost like a jam band for
rock and roll.
Rock and roll, because they would start a hit and then they would do a different rendition of it, or they just continue to milk apart for a while, or a riff.
Yeah. Again, there's like theatrics and there's a show and there's a whole situation. You're not just getting music, man.
They've been doing it long enough. They're at the top of their game. They're killing it. So anytime they come back around, I'm in.
Well, apparently they should be coming back around because, like I said, they did mention they'd never been there and now they have to come back or this or the other. So who knows?
He says that to all
I know.
All the groups.
Say that to all the girls, don't you?
He's not gonna go to Valdosta, Georgia.
Who did we talk about? Was that Red Fang?
That's Talk.
Okay. Oh yeah, Talk.
All right.
Can I guess your other 2?
Go ahead.
Turnstile and Fever.
Yeah.
Okay, that's what I
call.
thought. Yeah.
That's exactly what.
That stage. I mean, we for a while we couldn't get away from that stage on 2 days. You know.
Yeah.
It just sucks that there's not that much shade around that area either.
So Turnstile being like this hardcore punk, like I've listened to them before, but then when you see a group live, you have a little more respect.
Well,
for
also
the music.
they're younger looking.
And the new album just came out 2 weeks ago, anyways. So based on the new music, which is front to back, just
would you call it more like? I think it's more old school sounding.
Right.
Like old school hardcore and punk sounding.
There's not a lot of people that that have that sound anymore.
Mm-hmm.
And maybe it sounds like some old punk, and it's got a new twist to it. And
Yeah, it's definitely it was energetic. A lot of people showed up for their set. I felt like a lot of people, because it was early in the day. Those were early shows. We're talking about like early bands here. A lot of people showed up for their set. We showed up.
Yeah, I took some photos. I met up with the guys. The fight that broke out, Stefan saw it first.
Well, I mean,
and then
I saw that shit coming.
Yeah.
That we all saw it coming.
There's always that one guy that's trying to run the pit.
Well, it's not that. Unfortunately, and this is like a theme I saw all weekend, because they have so many different genres under one roof. Like, we're all in the same roof. Like, they're all in the same house. This is a rock and roll house, right?
This house is rock and roll.
But there are subgenres to this. There's other rooms in this house. Certain rooms dance a certain way in the mosh pit, then other rooms dance. Like, we're all well aware. Bands like Stone Sour, Benjamin Button, Breaking Benjamin. There's other kind of mainstream Godsmack, those kind of bands. The people who mosh pit in those mosh pits are really just running up to each other and like pushing each other. You know, it's like that's your standard kind of like push mosh is what the hardcore kids called it. I've been a part of both. I've done both types of mosh pitting. You have to know what type of mosh pitting is going on before you get into the mosh pit. So like during Turnstile, you'd see this periodically throughout the weekend. Like when a punk hardcore band would play, that's when those punk hardcore kids would come and they would do their like dancing.
Yeah.
You know?
Yeah, you got a little bit of the circle, you got the dancing, you got the center.
And the circle pit, like a true circle pit, not like some kind of like weird mainstream rock and roll circle pit where they just run around. Like this is like a real circle pit where they're still like thrashing and doing the circle pit. But like that one guy, it was your basic fucking like a new metal head, like a like guy that listens to like Metallica and that kind of shit. And he had like gray hair, right? He's like 40s, maybe older.
Yeah. I work out, bro.
He worked out though. Yeah, he was wearing his wife beater. He was much taller than me and JP, but like he was that dude that was walking around the pit like chest out, shoulders up, and he was like, "I'm a fucking come hit me, come bump into me, I'm gonna thrash you." And after a while, that one dude just the big pit guy, the big hardcore kid, accidentally hit him with the little backhand, and Mr. Mann did not like that too much.
So I tried to swing at him.
Well, no, I thought he ran after him and gave him a little elbow. Well, to the head.
That happened, but then Stefan said he also tried to swing and he missed.
Yeah.
And then he got his ass whipped.
Well, that's the thing, like
a swarm of bees.
You don't do the hardcore scene is so not violent. But
it's
it
violent
is so violent
as it looks.
Yeah.
It's not violent.
Yeah, the mosh pit, I should state, the hardcore kid mosh pit is not violent. It definitely looks violent, and you're definitely going to get hurt in there sometimes, but it's like, they're not like, yo, that dude in the Cubs hat and the glasses, I'm going to fuck his day up. They're not, it's not on against you or personal. It's just like, hey, I'm going in here, and this is my little space, and I may hit somebody, and I may get hit. But like you said, you got kicked, and you got kicked in the stomach, and like, it's all in fun games. It's all fair.
Shook it off.
Yeah.
Took a breather.
He had a lot to shake off.
Oh, yeah. After the second time he got kicked in the face, like the second kick was when the blood came out of the nose. And then I was interjecting in between.
We were going that direction anyway.
Oh, dude.
Just kind of like help out. Because you don't want anyone to fight in general. And like...
Well, there's a certain amount of ass kicking you're allowed.
He needed that.
Yeah.
Like, the universe needed to right that wrong. And now that guy's not going to do that ever again.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? So like... Yeah.
But there's no reason to get sent into a coma.
Right.
Or stomped down.
Hey, Boston beat down. It's one of those things. The hardcore community is not violent, but if something happens in the pit, like if someone starts getting fucked with, the hardcore kids are going to support the hardcore kids.
Yes.
Yeah, so that's just how that is. And then like hours later, we found blood all over your leg from his face.
Like, oh shit. I was like, am I bleeding?
Oh, dude, but his friend, like because we helped pick him up, and then his other buddy, his older buddy, like got him, and they were like, "Yo, we gotta get out of here."
Yeah.
And then Stefan's just like, "Way to go, buddy! Way to go!" Just clapping right in his face, and that guy is so not even paying attention to anything. He is out of it.
Oh
dude.
yeah.
Hey, the universe was. I'm telling you, the universe gets out of whack a little bit.
Instant karma.
Yeah. Instant karma, bro. So that was good. Wasn't us.
No, and I don't like there's a bad reputation around some of these venues over here because it's always the same kids, and some of them do want to.
Yeah, there are,
thrash.
but there's assholes everywhere.
Yeah,
There's assholes everywhere. So, any tips for people for the Welcome to Rockville?
wear sunscreen.
Yeah, sunscreen.
I bought a hat the second day, so cover your face.
You definitely will get burnt.
Scorcher out there. We are talking about. That's when the weather in Florida got nice.
Well, luckily they have it timed to where it's not like a lot. Like it's not super hot. Like this is 2 weeks later and it's hot.
No, yeah.
Like it's hot now. I wouldn't want to do it.
Moist.
Yeah.
Moist.
My tip is anyone that comes out. I mean, I think I even talked about this that weekend. Rock and roll should adopt a new color since the festivals are starting to go outdoors and like America is getting more rock festivals like that.
Black is not
good.
The uniform.
Yeah, black. And you don't need to wear like tight ripped jeans. Guys don't need to wear tight ripped jeans. Girls don't need to wear tight ripped black jeans. You're out here all damn day, you know. Just get some shorts and like a fucking flowy tee, dog.
Or a bikini top.
Hey,
you know?
well, some of you guys don't need that, but you saw that dude every day.
Every day.
That dude had a bikini top every day.
Short biker shorts. And,
doing him, man. They're doing him.
And a bikini top on.
You did see like everybody. There were so many different kinds of people there. So many different kinds of people. People from all over too.
My favorite, one of the pluses there is you get the people watch.
I
did a lot of that.
Oh, if you're interested in people watching, it's a prime spot for that.
Definitely.
Saw so much weird shit. But I mean, that's festival stuff. Like anytime you go to a festival, there are going to be people there that are not themselves. You know, a lot of people are on vacation. A lot of people came from out of town. A lot of people are just there, and their whole situation is just to like enjoy themselves as much as they can. It just really, I was just super surprised. Like when we got done, like Foo Fighters has ended, we're all home. Like first off, how epic was it to go to like a festival and then like go home?
Yes.
Like right away. How cool was that?
A little bit of traffic on the way home, but then you get to rest in your own bed.
Usually it's like, oh, I gotta sleep here tonight, pack my shit, and then drive home. Or like for Bonnaroo's, pack your shit and then drive down this highway a little bit and get a hotel room and then go home. Yeah.
Mm.
But yeah, going right home was dope. What was I saying?
Tips,
yeah. I think that was it. I think it was cool to come home like right afterwards.
Well, and I'm glad after the success of this year.
I remember now.
It is going to be going on. It's got to obviously be going on next year.
Oh yeah, I think it's just going to get bigger and better at this point. And
see, that's the issue. Is I don't know how they're going to. Somebody's version of better. It's going to be my version of worse.
Well, because we're so out of touch with like mainstream rock and roll. Yeah. I think what I was going to say earlier just a second ago was I was super impressed that it was like, holy shit, this is a real festival. Like, you know, like I said, you've been to Rockville, I've been to Rockville. It felt like the other ones were just like, I'm going to a concert for a day and then coming home. That was like, they were camping. People were camping. People stayed there. They had music from like noon to fucking 11. You know, bands alternating. They didn't really overlap that often either, so that was a plus. See, that's another way they can maybe like make it better or book more bands, just overlap, because like every festival overlaps. So it's good that they didn't this year, but I foresee them adding more bands at some point, and that is a way to add more bands. Or lengthen the sets out longer to where they do overlap.
Right.
Because a lot of them were just like 30, 35, 40-minute sets. So.
No, I'd be done with that.
Yeah, I picture it being bigger next year, and because it seems to have gotten bigger each year lineup wise.
All right, so who do you have as a favorite for next year?
Tool.
I figured you were going to say that.
Because they're gonna have an album coming out and all that shit.
Only thing I could have thought of.
And Tool's played here. They played the arena. Who else? Deftones.
I'm down for Deftones. I'm down for Yeah, if like Rage came, I'd always be down. I got a reunion for Rage, but that's not gonna happen anytime
I
soon.
sent you that thing recently, bro.
It's not gonna happen anytime soon.
No, but at least they're talking. They're hanging out. You
Yeah.
know, it's way better than what we've had in the last 15 years.
Well,
Alright.
Zach could drop a solo album, and I'd be all right with that.
Because you just want. Yeah,
I need more
I
Zach.
feel you. I feel you.
Like Fever is a part of that void.
I
Even
felt a
some
little
of
bit of that when they played.
Yeah.
It was great. I had a great time. I think the production was dope. I think stages were dope. The amenities were dope. You know, they had everything. Everything you could think of eating. They had great food there. They had food trucks there. They had regular like festival type food, and then like local food trucks or food trucks that are just on this festival circuit were there too.
Yep.
You guys ate like noodles like every day. Island noodles.
The last day I mixed it up.
You got some Safe Harbor seafood.
Gotta support the locals.
Mm-hmm.
It's delicious.
Yeah, it was great. I had a really good time that weekend. I was impressed. That's what I'll just leave it at. And I've been to like 1 or 2 festivals in my life, so.
I got my souvenir band to go with it.
Yeah. Media pass.
I'm always down with that.
Yeah, no, you got to take a little souvenirs away with you whenever you can.
Well,
They're pink. They're pink, but you know, this is what it is.
That being said, we're going to be missing out on a festival this next week.
The podcast was granted access to the Hangout Festival, but literally we heard about it. Like I got my pass yesterday.
Yep.
And so we will not be attending Hangout Festival. But hey, kudos, we got accepted. And that's unfortunate we can't make it. But I had forgot all about applying for it.
Yeah.
So it's just one of those things. Like that's what I'm saying. Like they don't you this business, you just have to be able to roll with
Yo,
it.
keep an eye out for Riot.
Yeah.
They haven't announced the lineup yet.
I submitted some shit for Dreamville.
Yeah.
The J. Cole thing.
The tour lineup came out.
Mm-hmm.
So it's
We're going to Tampa then?
Young Thug.
Yeah, we're going to Tampa? Is that what you're saying?
I don't know, man. I don't know.
Why?
I don't want to see Young Thug.
Who cares?
Yeah, I do want to see J. Cole again. Whatever. We might have to.
Pay deck water. I heard that song today. So anyway. So I guess we just play the interview for our listeners and viewers.
Check out the interview.
Yeah, actually for our viewers, just go to our YouTube. And then you'll check it out. And then alright, so cue the interview.